The sound of rain gently tapped against the large hospital window. Inside the dimly lit room, the steady beeping of a heart monitor echoed through the silence. Kim Taehyung stood beside the glass, quietly watching the city lights of Seoul shimmer beneath the stormy night sky. People hurried through the streets below with umbrellas, laughing, complaining about the rain, living ordinary lives. He smiled softly. How wonderful it must be to believe tomorrow was guaranteed. His fingers slowly tightened around a small notebook pressed against his chest. The cover had faded over the years from being opened so many times. It wasn't a diary, it was his wish list, a list of dreams he had written after hearing the words that shattered his life. You have a rare congenital heart disease. Without a transplant, we don't know how much time you have left. Years had passed since that diagnosis. Years of medications. Years of hospital visits. Years of pretending to smile so his parents wouldn't cry. The doctors searched endlessly for a matching donor. But Taehyung had one of the rarest blood types, AB negative. Every passing month made hope smaller. Every heartbeat felt borrowed. Yet somehow, he refused to stop dreaming. Opening the notebook, he traced his fingertips over the handwritten pages. The first wish had already been crossed out. Watch the sunrise from Namsan Tower. He smiled at the memory. His father had taken him there at 5 in the morning, carrying a backpack full of snacks and hot coffee because the weather had been freezing. His mother had spent the whole morning taking blurry photos while pretending not to wipe away her tears whenever Taehyung became breathless climbing the stairs. It had been one of the happiest mornings of his life. The second wish remained unfinished. Travel to Jeju Island. Maybe someday. Maybe not. He slowly turned another page. Learn to bake a cake. See cherry blossoms with someone I love. Dance in the rain. Celebrate Christmas without being admitted to a hospital. His smile grew smaller with every page. Then he reached the final wish. Unlike the others, this one was surrounded by a tiny heart. His fingers trembled. Be proposed to on a quiet beach by the person who truly loves me. A tear escaped despite his efforts to stop it. What a silly dream. His voice was barely a whisper. Who would want to fall in love with someone who's dying? A gentle knock interrupted his thoughts. Taehyung, he quickly wiped his eyes before turning around. His mother entered first, carrying a warm blanket. His father followed behind with a paper bag filled with Taehyung's favorite bread from a bakery across town. You skipped dinner again, his mother scolded softly. I'm not hungry. You always say that. His father placed the bag on the table. I waited 40 minutes in line. Taehyung laughed. You didn't have to. I wanted to. Silence settled over the room. No one mentioned the latest test results. No one spoke about the transplant waiting list. No one dared to ask the question that haunted them every day. How much time was left? Instead, they talked about ordinary things. His father complained about work. His mother argued about television dramas. Taehyung listened, smiling quietly. He knew exactly why they did it. They wanted this room to feel like home instead of a hospital. Hours later, after his parents had fallen asleep on the visitor's sofa, Taehyung carefully slipped out of bed. The hospital corridor was silent. Moonlight spilled across the polished floor. He wandered slowly toward the rooftop garden. It had become his favorite place. No machines, no needles, just fresh air. Standing beneath the night sky, he closed his eyes. I wish. His voice disappeared into the wind. I wish I had just a little more time. At that exact moment, someone pushed open the rooftop door. A young man stepped outside carrying a can of coffee. He looked around in surprise. Oh, he hadn't expected anyone else to be there. Taehyung opened his eyes. Their gazes met for the very first time. Neither of them knew it, but that single moment would change both of their lives forever. The soft glow of dawn painted the skyline of Seoul in shades of gold and pink. Most people welcomed the sunrise with plans for work, school, or another ordinary day. For Kim Tae-hyung, every sunrise was another precious gift. The rooftop garden was still quiet. The cool morning breeze brushed against Taehyung's pale face as he stood beside the railing, taking slow, careful breaths. His chest ached like it always did. Some days it felt like a heavy stone rested over his heart. Other days, it felt as though every heartbeat was asking permission to continue. He had long stopped complaining about the pain. Instead, he simply smiled. That smile had become his greatest shield. Behind it hid years of fear. He closed his eyes, letting the morning wind run through his dark hair. Footsteps echoed behind him. Taehyung turned around. The young man from the previous night stood near the rooftop door. He looked surprised again. Oh, you came back. Taehyung laughed softly. So did you. The stranger rubbed the back of his neck. I couldn't sleep. Neither could I. For a few awkward seconds, neither of them spoke. Finally, the stranger walked closer while holding out one of the coffee cans. I bought two. Taehyung looked at the can before smiling apologetically. I can't drink coffee. Oh. The stranger immediately looked embarrassed. I'm sorry. My doctor banned coffee years ago. He laughed. So it's okay. The stranger scratched his head. Then he searched inside a small paper bag. I also bought orange juice. Taehyung blinked. You bought juice too? I wasn't sure what you'd like. Taehyung couldn't help laughing. The stranger smiled in relief. There, I guessed correctly. Taehyung accepted the juice. Thank you. You don't have to thank me. I do. No. Yes. Both of them laughed. The awkwardness disappeared. I'm Jeon Jungkook. He extended his hand. Taehyung looked at it for a second before shaking it gently. I'm Kim Taehyung. It suits you. Taehyung tilted his head. My name? You look elegant. Taehyung chuckled. No one has ever complimented my name before. Really? They usually compliment my face. Jungkook stared, then burst into laughter. So you're confident? Not at all. I was joking. You almost fooled me, they laughed again. For the first time in weeks, Taehyung forgot about hospitals. What brings you here? Taehyung finally asked. Jungkook looked toward another hospital building connected by a bridge. My grandmother. She's been here for almost 2 weeks. Taehyung nodded. I'm sorry. She has kidney failure. I've been staying with her. You? Taehyung looked toward the intensive care wing. I'm one of the permanent decorations here. Jungkook frowned. What do you mean? I've spent so much time in this hospital that everyone knows my name. The joke sounded light, but something about it hurt. Jungkook noticed the hospital bracelet around Taehyung's wrist. He noticed the faint blue veins beneath his pale skin. You aren't visiting someone, Jungkook said quietly. You're the patient. Taehyung smiled. I am. Silence filled the rooftop. Jungkook didn't know what to say. Most people would immediately ask, "What's wrong? Will you recover? Is it serious?" But Jungkook didn't. Instead, he simply asked, "Does it hurt today?" Taehyung froze. Nobody had asked him that before. Everyone always wanted details, diagnosis, treatment, survival chances, but not, "Does it hurt?" He smiled. "A little." Jungkook nodded. "I hope tomorrow hurts less." Taehyung looked away before his eyes could become wet. Such simple words, yet somehow they touched his heart more deeply than any dramatic speech ever could. Over the next hour, they talked about everything: favorite foods, music, dream vacation destinations. Jungkook loved photography. Taehyung loved painting. Neither of them noticed how quickly time passed. For the first time in months, Taehyung laughed without forcing himself. His laughter echoed across the rooftop, warm, bright, beautiful. A nurse passing nearby smiled. "I haven't heard Mr. Kim laugh like that in ages." Another nurse nodded. "He looks happier today." Back inside the hospital, Dr. Park reviewed Taehyung's latest test results. His expression darkened, oxygen levels falling, heart function only 22%. He sighed heavily. Dr. Jimin entered carrying another folder. "How is he?" Dr. Park silently handed over the chart. Jimin's smile slowly disappeared. "So fast," she whispered. "He doesn't have much time." Dr. Park nodded. "We're still waiting." "The donor list?" "No match." Jimin closed the file. Outside the office window, she could see Taehyung laughing with someone in the rooftop garden, a young man she had never seen before. She smiled sadly. "I hope, whoever he is, he gives Taehyung he gives Taehyung something we've never been able to." Dr. Park looked outside. "What?" "A reason to smile."